Hi, this is Rajat Sharma, and I'm a EDYODA student, and here is my EDYODA caffeine project, pharmacy project. Okay, now I'm showing you my pharmacy project. Here, this is the UI of the pharmacy project that I have made. In the pharmacy project, first, here is the sign-in page. In the sign-in page, we have to enter the username and password. Here, I made the functionality. Username and password name should be same. If these are not same, we got error that please enter valid credential. If these are same, only we got login. Here we got login successful message. Okay, here is the order section page, order list section page. Here is the list of order ID, customer, date, amount, status. Here is the filter count, new, packed, transit. From the filter count we are check. Okay, if we unchecked we didn't get any data. If we check the new filter, add the new filter, we got new data with the new newest orders. Okay, if we check the on clicked on the packed, we got data with the packed. Same for the in transit and delivered, we got in transit and delivered data. Okay, this is the functionality of the order page. Now we move forward to the product page. In the product page, we are doing the same, calling the API. We are getting the data from the fetching the data from the API. Here is the ID, product name, band, expiry date, unit price, stock. Here is the product. Okay, we made do functionality here. Okay, one more thing, different from the login page. Here we a login page. We added order logout option and order product and user section. Okay, in the product we are filtering data with the expired and low stock data. Okay, when we click on expired, we got list with the expired stocks. Okay, when we click on low stock, then we got data with the low stock which whose value is less than 100. Okay, you can see here the values are 60, 86, and 68. So this is the low stock data. Okay, this is the functionality of product page. Now we move forward to the user page. In the user page, there is ID, avatar, full name, date of birth, gender, and current location. Here I made the functionality that we can search, filter this data by using the first name and last name. You can see the full name. In the full name, we have first and last name in the full name. Here, if we one more functionality, if we enter only one letter, let me explain you again. If we enter only one letter, then we got message that we have to enter at least two character to make the search. Okay, so in C H. Okay, after adding two letters, when the value of the letters is greater than 2, length of the letters are value is greater than 2, only then we got filter the our data. Okay, one more functionality, we have reset button. When we click on reset, our data get filtered. Okay, so here is the functionality of our user section, user panel. Okay, now the last functionality is logout. When we click on logout, or we logged out from the current session, and we move to the sign in page again. Okay, so this is our user interface. Okay, now we move forward to the coding section. Here you can see my caffeine project. Okay, here I made four files for HTML and four files for the JS part, and one for the CSS part. Okay, in the index.html, let me start from the beginning, which is our login page. Index.html, I'm using the link and script here with the differ, as you can see, and we are styling some internal styling here. I'm using some internal styling for the input section. Here is my heading section with the logo name, and all the anchor tags with order, product, and user. Okay. Now here is the main box. In the main box, we are adding the input, okay, which is we are getting the username password from the input, and on the on click in the form section, we move to the login validate option. Okay, so this is the login page HTML, and now we move forward to the HTML CS part of the login page. In the JS part, in the JS part, we have function with the login validate. When we click on the submit option on the username after adding the username and password, okay, we call login validate function. In the login and validate, we call username and password. Okay, from the username password, we are checking the condition when the password and name is equal to, and whenever the length of the name is greater than 2, only then we forward this, and we set here one more thing. We are setting the local storage as login status to true here. Okay, and when we click on the data, when our data conditions get true, only then we are setting here, and we are moving to the order.html page. When we click on submit, we move to the order page. Okay, otherwise the conditions are false, we got please enter valid credential. Here is the login status, we are getting the login status. If only when the login status is equal to true, only then we can move forward to the order.html page. Okay, now we move forward to the HTML page. In HTML page, everything is same as the login page. Here we are using jQuery and CDN file of the Ajax, because we are using Ajax in the for fetch API call. Here is the link style, internal style. Heading part is the same as the login page, but we have one more functionality of the logout button. In the logout button, we are calling logout function on click. Okay, in the main container, we have filter options, filter count, input. In the inputs, we have a checkbox. We are using checkbox, and in the checkbox, we have four types of inputs. Checkbox with a new packed and transit delivered, and we are calling the get data function whenever the user click on any input. We are calling get data function. Here is the table section. In the table section, we are setting the table data dynamically. Table data is nothing, is the data that we got from fetch from the API calls. Okay, now we move forward to the order.js part. Order.js part, we are doing the same thing. We are getting the status. We are at here in the different part is thing in the function. Whenever we click on the logout, we set login status is equal to false, and window dot location, we are setting window dot location equal to index.html. Whenever the user click on logout, the user move to the sign in page again. Here we are calling the get data. We are using axios to get function to call the API. From the axios, we got user data. User data is our the list of data that we are calling, that we got from our API. Here is the functionality. Here I'm adding check data. Check data is nothing, is a list of array that we are using, uh, is a list that we have checked. And here inner HTML, at first we are setting an inner HTML of our order data is equal to empty, and then we are filtering data here. Here we are checked input dot I. We are checking if the input using for loop here. We are checking if the user checked input is checked. Only then checked. We are pushing the checked data, checked input data to the checked data here. Okay. Okay. Now in the filtered user, we are filtering the date conditions. Whenever the item dot order status is nothing, is the order status which is new packed in transit. Whenever the check data includes order status, then we got filter here. Okay, we got the filtered user data here. Okay, here we are setting the variable temp is equal to empty. In the filtered user data, we are using for each function. In the for each function, we are setting the data dynamically to the temp. Okay, we are calling in for each function. Here we get id, customer name, order status, and amount from the for each function. Okay, after the data that we get dynamically, we are adding temp equal to inner html here. Okay, in the total section, one more thing, we have to count the total list, so we can show it on the our panel. Here total list is nothing, just a fixed length of the filtered users that we have filtered. Whatever the list on the screen is showing is the total length, and we are adding it to the count. Here we are adding the count in our html equal to the total that we got. Okay, then we are calling get data. Same in the product, everything is same. Here we are just doing two functionality. We are adding expired. Here this is my product .html part. Okay, for the product page, in the product page, here is the get product data. Get product, here we have on the input, on the checkbox, we are checking if the product is expired or low stock. Okay, and we are calling get product data function. Here everything is same, we are getting data dynamically. In the product.js part, here is the logout functionality, same as the order page. In the get product data, we are calling fetching the data using Axios. Sorry, we are using Axios to get the data, and setting equal to the product data. Here we are getting the current date from the new date function. We are formatting it. Okay, and now variable is expired. We are checking if the expired checkbox is checked. Whenever it is checked, we got true, a bool in the value in the boolean in true or false. Okay, variable data after filtering. Here we are setting data that we have to get after filtering our conditions. First we check both condition is both are checked, if both are true, then we filter. Here and we are filtering if the filter data is less than date. Date is one more thing in filter data, we are using format filter date. We are using format date function here. Okay, in the format date, we are using item dot expiry date is nothing, it's just a value that we got from the product. Okay, from the api call is the expiry date value of the product, and we are formatting the data. Here I will explain to you the format data function later. And here we, when our conditions met true, we got the filter data. Here if we want to check the is expired only, if the value is greater than less than the current date, that means it is expired, so we are getting the expired stock here. And if the low stock is nothing, it's just low stock is nothing, it's just a stock that is less than, one more thing, item dot stock is, whenever the stock is less than 100, we got data in the is low stock options here. Okay, data after filtering. Okay, okay, after, if all the conditions met false, then we move to the, we are setting the data after filtering equal to the product data that we got. Okay, now we are using the adding the data dynamically. We are adding the data dynamically to the table row and table data. Okay, we are setting inner html of the order data section equal to temp. Here we are adding doing the same count. In the count, post filter count, we are adding data after filtering. Whatever the data we got, we are setting the length of the data equal to that section. In the user option, we are, everything is same. Here we are just uh, fetching the data and searching the value using the reset user function. In the reset user function, in the reset user function, we are using, everything is same. In the reset user function, we are just searching the value. Whatever the value we got, we are checking if the length of the value is greater than equal to 2, only then our function will work. Our conditions met, when the conditions met true, then we call the search function value by using passing the value and user data as argument. Okay, in the search function, We are filtering the data, setting the variable filter data equal to array, empty array, and we are looping the conditions. We are getting the value to the lower case, and filtering data to the data that we are setting the lower case to the full name that we got, and we are checking the condition if our full name includes the value that we have entered. Okay, now we are doing the same, dynamically entering the data here, and we are doing some error handling here. Okay, so this is the all my code. Now I'll explain you the hosting. In JavaScript, hosting allows you to use functions variable before they are declared. Okay, let me explain you. Here we are console.log foo, variable foo is equal to foo. Here you got undefined. Okay, you will surprise that we got output as undefined, not any error. Okay, even we have assigned foo after the we consoling it. Okay, here JavaScript, here the I will explain you. In JavaScript, splits the declaration of assignment of function and variable. Okay, it hosts your declaration to the top of their containing scope before execution. This process is called hosting. Okay, let me explain you again. We are calling, we are doing consoling before we explain declared it. Okay, so in that case we got undefined as I explained you. So this is nothing, this is our hosting. Okay, now one more thing, I'll explain you the order page functionality here, search functionality here. In the order.js part, we are doing nothing, we are calling the data, we are setting the data, fetching the data, sorry, getting the data from the axios by using axios, and setting the user data equal to, here 1 minute, here is the user data, here is the let check data is equal to empty, and where first of all we are setting the dynamically or inner html of the order data section table section to equal to empty array, empty string. Okay, then we are checked input, we are checking getting the checked input if the values are checked or not in the filter from the orders. Okay, we are using the for loop. In the for loop we are pushing the checked input data, value of the checked input data in the checked data array that we have made here. Okay, now in the filtered user section we are filtering the data here. If our data we are in the filtered user section, we are setting the condition if the check data includes the item order status. Item order status is our status if, of the item, if it is new, packed, checked, in transit, or what. Okay, after filtering the data we are setting the data dynamically here. So this is the order page function search functionality here. Okay, now we move forward to the user page search functionality. In the user page search functionality, nothing, we are using the input of the search input. We are and we are using the button on click. Okay, we are setting the input as type search. On the on click we got call a function reset user. On reset users we are calling this functions. On reset users, first of all, we are getting the data by Axios, using Axios. In the data, we are setting data equal to user data. Okay, in the search input, when we click on key up, we call a function. Okay, in the function, we got the value. When the value of the length is greater than equal to 2, only then our conditions met true, we call a search function option here. Okay, even if the value is equal to 1 or less than 2, then we alert here, alert as to character here. Okay, in the search function, as you can see, we are passing value and user data, and value is the data that we have, user data is the data that we got from the API, value is the data that we have entered in the search bar. Okay, so this is the search function. We are, if our conditions met true, we filter the data and push it to the filter the user data and push the data in the filtered data section. Here we are adding data dynamically here. So this is, thank you, this is my project.